Well, good evening, everybody. This is Connor Bourne here coming to you live from sunny Orlando, Florida, here as we get to discuss and chat about a little Friends Stream Sports action. Very excited to get to be with everybody here this evening. Rutledge is nowhere to be found as per the case. So that is okay. We are okay. We will be there. I am going to switch what we're talking about here. I don't want anybody to come in thinking that this is a. I don't want anybody to come in to think that this is a NBA 2K stream, which is not. That's okay though. We're talking about. We're just doing a little podcast here this evening, and we're very, very thankful for that. So, uh, before we get in, just wanted to thank all of our viewers and our listeners and our watchers here this evening. And uh, we are very thankful for everybody to get to participate here with us tonight. So, with that, without further ado, let's jump in here. Let's jump in. I'm going to be giving you some sports takes here this evening, some sports talks and some sports thoughts. And we're very, very thankful. Feel free to jump in on the chat and we'll go from there. So, here in our first quarter of Friends Stream Sports tonight, I want to share with you a few of my thoughts that I have, a few rants, if you will, about some big NFL stories that we have seen here in these recent weeks. Number one, the first story is the Tim Tebow story. I do not know who all has been following it. A lot of people have been following it. It's been making a lot of headlines. It's been great for sports media because of all the headlines that it is creating and all the headlines that it is generating. That Urban Meyer was going to bring Tim Tebow in, not to play quarterback, but to play tight end for sort of a tryout-esque type situation. So very controversial, for a variety of reasons. Number one, if Tim Tebow could get a shot, why not? A guy like Colin Kaepernick, among many, many others. And we're not going to get into that debate tonight, but here's one of the things that I have always kind of felt, especially once Tim Tebow got into this situation with the Jags, was, number one, being on the 90-man roster is a whole lot different than being on the 53-man roster, especially playing for your college coach and being able to come in as a guy with that relationship with your college coach on that 90-man roster. I've always kind of felt that Tim Tebow might be good enough to make a 90-man roster, at least from a tryout perspective. But I would eat these glasses on my face, deep fry them, and eat them all up if Tim Tebow made a 53-man roster. As a tight end, as a quarterback, as a special teams player, Tim Tebow, I will be very, very surprised if that is the case. Now, furthermore, the interesting thing apparently that has come out is that just recently, as of I believe it was today, the Jacksonville Jaguars are potentially going to reverse course on this. Came out from Pro Football Talk today that bringing Tim Tebow in on the 90-man roster is in a, quote, holding pattern for the Jacksonville Jaguars. And not only do we see another time where Urban Meyer makes a decision that he might reverse course on, and we'll see if he ends up reversing course on it. Not only do we see that again, but we saw that once. Once is enough, especially for a brand new coach. I think Urban Meyer is getting a brand new, very rude introduction into the NFL, and he's kind of going through it. Don't feel too sorry for the guy, because I'm sure he had a lot of people tell him, hey, it's not like college. It's not like you have free reign like you used to. But I think now, at least for Urban Meyer's sake, I hope that Tim Tebow at least makes it into, maybe not through the end of, but at least into some sort of rookie, mini camp. I know rookie mini camps are going on now, an OTA type situation, just for the opportunity for Urban Meyer to not have to backtrack on something else. So that is something that is very interesting that I am finding very, very interesting. And we'll continue to report on that. I hope Rutledge feels a little bit better after our debate show, that he can come back on again. We actually have a little bit of a surprise for that next week, but we'll be following the Urban Meyer and Tim Tebow story as these stories come out. So that's kind of story number one of the evening as it relates to NFL. Story number two is Aaron Rodgers. There's been a lot of news about Aaron Rodgers lately, and a lot of news is, I've kind of felt is overblown, but there is a story that I actually kind of like that I heard about today. And that is the specifics for a deal from the Denver Broncos to the Green Bay Packers for Aaron Rodgers has been leaked, had come out. And the big part of that deal was 3 first-round draft picks. And the fact that the Green Bay Packers apparently didn't even consider that to get the full deal, in essence, was Drew Lock, 3 first-round draft picks, Bradley Chubb, and an offensive lineman. Bradley Chubb, the defensive end, and then an offensive lineman for Aaron Rodgers. And it was a mid-round pick, I believe a third or fourth round pick. And the fact that the Green Bay Packers turned that down immediately should signal a couple of things. Number one, I think there's a lot of folks that are maybe rightly considering the value and how good Jordan Love actually is and actually can be for the organization. But number two, I think that I don't mind that the Green Bay Packers turned this down. I don't mind it at all. I was talking to Rutledge actually a while back, and as we were chatting about some of these Aaron Rodgers stuff, I said, Rutledge, one rule in life, there's many rules in life, but one rule in life is to never kill the golden goose. Don't kill the golden goose. The Green Bay Packers went from Brett Favre to Aaron Rodgers to lead their franchise as quarterbacks. That is, you're not going to, if you go 3 for 3 and let's say the Packers draft the next guy that can carry them for the next 15 years, like that's the luckiest thing ever. The fact that the Packers only have 2 Super Bowls with having Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers be their last 2 main starting quarterbacks, I mean, that is not too good for the Packers organization. But the fact that they are able to be, a team that can keep Rodgers. He's 37 years old right now. He's got 3 years left on his contract, and a team that can keep Aaron Rodgers around and try to convince him to stay and do whatever they can to convince him to stay. I kind of think there's some value there, especially because you're giving up on 3 first-round picks, but you're also gaining 3 first-round picks for a whole lot of question marks. And what you have in Aaron Rodgers, and especially at the quarterback position, there's big-time value in being set with where you go. So that's kind of story number 2. We'll be following that story as that continues. I'm more of a fan of the Packers should do whatever it takes to keep Aaron Rodgers, not necessarily for Aaron Rodgers' sake, but for the Packers' sake, because they're a really good franchise and a really good organization, and they should try to keep a really good quarterback around, maybe make one more run at a Super Bowl. And that leads me to kind of our third story here. We've talked about a guy who used to play quarterback. We talked about a guy who is a really old quarterback. Now we're talking about a guy who's a really young quarterback here, and that is our best friend. Be our best friend. Maybe you're not our best friend, but we'd love for you to be our best friend, Justin Herbert here of the Los Angeles Chargers. I just want to give a brief Justin Herbert update. Justin, we would still love to have you on the show. Rutledge and I would buy the brand new Madden just to play it with you, and we'd buy PS5s. Heard it here first. Rutledge said he would buy a PS5 if he could play with you, Justin Herbert. I think Rutledge might actually really be mad at me now. But one of the big things that we're seeing here with the Chargers, one of their big themes was to have the offensive line and be able to fix the offensive line And they think they did that. They did a nice little overhaul. They drafted the tackle out of Northwestern with their first pick of the draft, and they're definitely banking on the offensive line being better, which is going to be really really critical in any NFL division. Um, so you got that. I think that losing Hunter Henry and replacing him with Jared Cook is okay. It's not optimal. It's a little bit of a downgrade, but we'll see there. I think that Austin Eckler is going to be much more important for Justin Herbert as kind of that security blanket coming in there as a tight end type. It's a running back, but it's a dual threat running back, so he can grab the ball in positions where tight ends would also be grabbing the football. So definitely excited about Justin Herbert. I kind of think he could be a sleeper MVP kind of pick. So we'll see how that goes. So those are some NFL stories I've been following. I hope all of our viewers and our fans are also following us here on and some of these NFL stories. So